The situation welcomes INEC's trial of a portal whereby voters and the public at large can see their polling unit level results online within hours of voting closing. We have seen the poll at the week in recent days at the National State Assembly polls where this was tried out. Situation would like to say that this is a significant step forward for transparency in Nigerian elections that should be reinforced and applied rigorously in the upcoming Edo State and, of course, Ondo State governorship elections. It then proves that it is possible for every voter to have access to the record of what has happened in the polling unit. The situation will expect such transparency systems to come under pressure in more competitive elections, as we will see in Edo and Ondo. While we see this measure as vitally important, it does not substitute for necessary Electoral Act reforms and improvement in political party conduct that are necessary for stabilizing elections in Nigeria. The recent nullification of the Bayelsa governorship election by the Election Tribunal also reinforces the need for urgent reform on electoral matters, particularly on the role of the judiciary in dispensing electoral justice and the need to quickly conclude election matters. Situation calls for the following. The Nigerian government should genuinely seek to implement measures that restores citizens' confidence in its ability to govern. The Nigerian government should also take measures to address the economic challenges to citizens, which has caused huge loss of jobs, financial hardships, and arbitrary and unnecessary financial burden being inflicted on citizens through increased new taxes, charges, fees, and costs that are very oppressive, including licenses. And we know that the Minister of Information has actually implemented increases which are clearly in violation of constitutional provisions. We're also concerned about the rising levels of human rights violations, and we're calling on government to respect and protect the rights of Nigerians. Nigerians have the right to free expression, and the constant or emerging situation where citizens who speak up on national issues are interrogated by security agencies and sometimes detained is clearly in violation of our Constitution. We call on INEC to ensure that newly introduced election results portal, as has happened in Nasarawa State Assembly elections, is made transparent, effective, available, and efficient so that citizens can determine from this portal that elections have been freely and fairly conducted. We also are calling on political parties in Edo State to focus on issue-based campaign in their final lead to election day and to observe INEC's COVID-19 protocols in their campaign rallies. Like I said, a situation where campaigns are going on and issues are not being focused on by the political parties in Edo State is worrying and does not leave citizens with choice. We also call on INEC to reflect changes to its guidelines and ensure that its guidelines are in strict adherence to electoral principles and to conduct elections clearly mapping out punitive measures for election stakeholders who flout the commissions, who flout COVID-19 guidelines. Security agents should also be non-partisan and professional before, during, and after the elections and abide by INEC's code of conduct and rules of engagement for security personnel on election duty. Again, to recap that we are very worried as Situation Room about the state of affairs in the country, about increasing citizens' desperation, despondence, and loss of confidence in our ability of government to govern and deliver on expectations, and again about the worsening security situation in the country, which has meant that citizens' trust in the ability of the security services and security forces to respond to the security needs of our country is in question. Repeatedly, citizens groups, the National Assembly, state governors have called for attention to be paid to the nature and leadership of our security services, and the president has not done so. We call on the president to respect the Constitution, to ensure that security chiefs who have exceeded their terms of office are allowed to go, in order that the security services can be made much more effective and efficient. Thank you. So we're happy to take questions. And